Hello, this is Bill Cludsy. Welcome to a Murders at Karlov Manor draft. I've been doing a few of these and would love to make a video, so let's jump into pack one. We do have a Wrath here. Those are pretty powerful in this format because I find a lot of games end up being sort of one dominating board position against whatever you might have, and the Wrath resets that. So that's going to be the pick. I mean, it does give a little bit of an advantage to the player who's losing more creatures, but everyone has a bunch of clues in play, right? So that shouldn't be too bad. The other things I want to mention in this pack are the next best things. Interrogation, it might be okay. I haven't really seen it do much work. Enervation would be my next pick, followed by like Binding and then Escape Tunnel, because I do appreciate the fixing. Person of Interest is another fine one there, but that takes care of that pack. Take the Wrath. Torch the Witness stands out to me immediately here. It's a great removal spell. It can be very cheap to deal with small things, but it can deal with as big of threats as are on the field for not too much more mana. And usually, almost always, you're going to get the investigation out of it. So you spend 4 mana, destroy a 5/5, and investigate, which is very strong. That'll be the pick here. It's followed up by maybe Extract a Confession, these 2-drops, which are pretty good, and then whatever else you might imagine, Dramatic Accusation or yeah, that's about it. Move to deck. Okay. What do we have in this pack? We've got Murder, which is pretty far from being good in a red-white deck. We've got Red Herring, which could be decent in an aggressive deck. We've got No More Lies, potentially in like a blue-white control deck. But what would we be sad without is kind of the way to look at it. Or even World Soul's Rage. X damage to any target, including your opponent, and then get some lands back from your graveyard to your battlefield. Kind of an interesting one. In this pack, I'll go with Red Herring. It's also pretty decent if you're following up with a Wrath, because you can sack it on your opponent's turn before they realize that you don't want any creatures in play. And what else do we have here? Frantic Scapegoat. This card is fine. It's a pretty good variant of a Raging Goblin, just a 1/1 haste that's going to get in for 1 damage. I don't find myself usually suspecting another creature. It would be better in a deck that cared about suspected creatures, like the black-red deck. If you want some bang for your buck, I like Person of Interest. Now, we're not seeing any white here, which is a bit concerning, but there's no reason for us to get off of red at this point. Extract a Confession might be fine. Okay. Yeah, as much as I'm not seeing white coming, maybe this Frantic Scapegoat is the way to go. The other thing is, I haven't seen this deck yet, but I'm tempted by the idea of Slime Against Humanity. The green-red deck doesn't really have much of an identity outside of disguise creatures. So I'm not sure if that really works. Like maybe Slime Against Humanity is better in blue-green, which cares about collecting evidence because this is easy to get mana value into your graveyard. I don't see a reason to get off of red here. I'll take the Scapegoat. And that does set us up pretty well for being in black-red. Yeah, so why don't we take Extract a Confession? Knife has been okay. It's been playable to me. Better than that, probably, is Offender at Large. And I do have a lot of respect for Suspicious Detonation. It's mostly a blue-red card because 2 mana to do 4 damage to a creature is great at sorcery speed in this format. Can't even be countered. There are so many bombs that have 4 or less toughness that you just absolutely have to deal with. So I like that for that reason. All of these are a little bit worse, I think, than Extract a Confession. Let's see, anything good here? Combat tricks are decent in this format. This is a surprising one because there aren't many 1 mana combat tricks. So if you go wide, and especially if you get some kind of double strike trample creature, giving +3 or +4/+4 to that would be quite strong. Bite Down on Crime might be better. It sort of does 2 things at once. Collect some evidence. Yeah, I'm going to go for that. Slime Against Humanity. Well, yeah, it'd be fun to get a deck which had a bunch of those, but it's probably not a good time to try to work towards that. However, we've got Deduce here. I've got a lot of respect for Deduce. It's pretty close to 2 mana Divination at instant speed in a set which cares about clues anyway. Escape Tunnel. I take these pretty highly, or I'm pretty interested in them. The Alibi, Inspector, and Pick Your Poison. I'll take the Alibi. You can imagine a world where... Ooh, World Soul's Rage. You can imagine a world where... I'll take the Creeper, maybe. This one's tough. Maybe we end up in black, red. Okay, this pack's going pretty quick. You can imagine a world where you set up a 2/2 red herring that has to attack every turn. They block it, you win that combat, now you have a 4/4 that attacks every turn. So they just have to kill it. And that's a pretty good world. So do a little sorting here because things got moved around. And what do we find next? Judith. Pretty interesting when we have spells that do damage. Maybe we could pick up a Shock. Maybe we go into Jund, and World Soul's Rage is on the table. Because gaining that life is a big game, and also turning a Shock into just a kill anything spell is pretty good. Not to mention just having an instant or sorcery laying around for 1 mana, and you make a what better than a detective, well, usually this imp that hits your opponent when it dies. Yeah, I'll go for Judith here. We are kind of set up to be in these colors. Yeah, what else is here? Another Officious Interrogation. The clue card. Moroi, Not on My Watch. And then some other stuff that isn't as interesting. Undergrowth Recon. Maybe we could be the land deck. We have World Soul's Rage, and we could have Undergrowth Recon, although it's not simple. It's not obvious how to get a ton of lands into your graveyard. Escape Tunnel would certainly help. Another Extract a Confession is decent in a world of Judith. You sack a thing, I make a thing. We'd also be interested in ways of getting Judith back into play. We're a little far away from Detective Satchel here. I'll just take Extract a Confession. What do we have left? Person of Interest. I'm not going to be too sad with almost any number of these. And in the right black-red deck, they're just even better. Assemble the Players. We're kind of far from being in white or even splashing white, so I'm not as interested in that. What I want is a bunch of cheaper creatures, maybe to trade off and that kind of thing. But black-red is usually somewhat open. In any case, our red deck will benefit from the Person of Interest. Lost in the Maze, wow. Is it worth switching to blue for that? I do like this card a lot. It's like the bigger version of of Out Cold, it can just tap all your opponent's creatures, but it has this additional thing of just having your creatures survive any kind of removal because it just stays in play, so they can't kill your creatures when after you've declared attacks or anything like that. Oh wow, is that worth it here? It's heavy blue. And I don't see much else we're super interested in. Black's disappearing. I'll take it. It's got high enough upside. Bubble Smuggler. Sanguine Savior. Curious. Cadaver. Maybe some Grixis control is in the books here. Another Deduce for Judith, perhaps. I like the Curious Cadaver. I think we'll actually take Deduce here. There we go. Galvanize. That's pretty easy. It's another damage spell for Judith. So what I really want now is some protection or a way to get Judith back. Anzrag's Rampage, not really going to do it for us. Case of the Gorgon's Kiss. Let's see. Destroy up to one target creature that was dealt damage this turn. So you could combo that with a Shock or a Galvanize or something. That's not usually what you're going to want to do. Here, I guess we could take Snarling Gorehound. It pairs pretty well with Extracted Confession. And we have a lot of little creatures enough to trigger it. So yeah, I'll grab that. Toxin Analysis is fine. Pretty much like a Deduce. Although I could take Suspicious Detonation. What is this? If you've sacked an artifact this turn... We don't have a ton of artifacts to sack. I'll take the Analysis. Repeat Offender. This is a really good mana sink for the late game. Furious Rage would be better if we had any creatures, which we don't really have now. And Mask Maker, of course, you'd need some disguise creatures for that to be any good. So I'll take the Repeat Offender. Magnetic Snuffler has its place. Braggart might just be the kind of big creature we need. We don't even have any equipment for the Snuffler. This works especially well with Surveil, but it also works really well with the cycle of artifacts that are clues and you can sack them. And it also works really well with the Orangutan, which could sack any other equipment a turn or two before that comes into play. Let's see, Reasonable Doubt, Fey Flight. Fey Flight probably usually better, but Reasonable Doubt I'll take because it works better with Judith, and it's a fine card. Okay, after 2 packs, we have our toes pretty deep into the black-red pool here. I wonder, so Sharp-Eyed Rookie stands out as the best card in this pack by a considerable margin. There aren't any red cards in the pack. The red cards we do have could all be fairly late. So maybe we could take Sharp-Eyed Rookie. The problem with that is we don't have any bigger creatures to trigger it, so it's a glorified 2/2 Vigilance. Basilica Stalker. Cut it from someone else. I think there's just not much else interesting in this pack. Maybe I'm undervaluing the Stalker, but given that there's not much that interesting, I'm just going to cut something that we don't really want to play against. Torch the Witness number 2. That is quite interesting. And it makes Judith look a bit better. On this table, who knows, we might wheel Galvanize. Lazov and Drag the Canal are both very good. But Torch is obviously well worth it for us. Izoni. Okay. Yeah, this is why you take fixing. Maybe we should be taking unscrupulous agent, but let's see. This comes in, you may collect evidence 4, and then you get a huge board. And also, whenever it attacks, it does that. Sacrifice 4 tokens, surveil 2, then draw 2 cards. Yeah. So this is incredible. Works really well with Gorehound because the 2/2/1s enter, get to surveil 2 more times. It's got to be the splash we need here. So I'm going to cut blue. Maybe even put Sharp-Eyed Rookie back in. And move that to the deck. Okay. Here we have Aftermath Analyst, Night Drinker Moroi, and Unscrupulous Agent. So the Analyst gets some stuff into our graveyard, which could be good for World, Soul's Rage. Not that interested in it. Might wheel. Agent is just always going to be good and helps us have some targets for Toxin Analysis or Case of the Gorgon's Kiss, if that even makes the deck. And then what else do we have? The Moroi hits pretty hard. I'll take the agent. I just want to get something down early to get the ball rolling. Here's a good pack. It's the third Officious Interrogation we've seen. I don't know if I've seen this version of it, though. And then we've got Coerce to Kill, which would be a great splash, but it's already 3 colors here. Don't really want to splash a 4th without better fixing. And then we've got Loxodon Eavesdropper and Rift Burst Hellion. It's got to be the Eavesdropper. Although I do like the Hellion. Yeah. Take that. Here's another one. Deduce, and not much else in the pack, really. Unless you're interested in blue or white, and that's pretty far from what we're doing. Here we go. Wow, Out Cold coming late. Alley Assailant. Chalk Outline. I don't think this is the version of that green deck. I mean, we have Izoni, which is already going to be doing well, and Extract a Confession ×2. So we've got some ways of stuff leaving the graveyard. It's too bad it doesn't trigger for enchantments leaving the graveyard. But anyway, we probably just need creatures. So that's gonna be Alley Assailant here. Oh, perfect. Topiary Panther. Yeah, that's got to be perfect here. And the Stalker's back, so nothing lost on that pick. Drag the Canal, super late. And Confiscation, depending on what deck we're against, we might want that. Still don't want the Snuffler. Detonation might be fine. And the Analyst is back. Jund. Got to build this Jund deck somehow. Now, we have some really powerful ones. The question is just going to be, which color is our splash color? So if we look at Judith and Izoni as what we're building around, then we're definitely including the torches. I wish I got a shock. We probably want... I think we want green-red, really. Or a green-black early. So that makes this a bit more obvious. So we're not in blue, we're not in white. So maybe 3 more cuts from this deck gets us there. Braggart is not that impressive. Those are good. Mortipede. So we've got I want to see how many things trigger Mortipede, because it's not really that many. One or more creature cards leaves your graveyard. And the only ways we have of triggering that are Izoni and the 2 Extracted Confessions. So Mortipede's not that interesting. I'd be happier with these persons of interest. I wonder about World Soul's Rage. How are we getting lands into the graveyard? We can surveil them into the graveyard. Analyst could possibly mill some. Surveil. And Escape Tunnel could get to the graveyard. So it's not like this is amazing, but it also just is a fireball. It's just a bad fireball. And even a bad fireball is going to be good. So, yeah, 6 mana to kill a 4/4. You could do worse than that. And anyway, it does have a little bit more value. Now, what all things trigger the analyst? Or not the analyst, the rookie? Not a ton. It's pretty easy for us to get the first counter on it because we've got analyst, assailant, and these eavesdroppers. Then we're going to need to look to Stalker and Judith. And then we're looking at Izoni and Topiary Panther. So we do have a decent number here. 8 things that could potentially pump it up. Braggart would be another good one. And even Mortipede would be pretty good. So it might be a reason to play a Mortipede over a person of interest. Like, if we think those are pretty close, and Mortipede is more in our colors, then having the extra clue and extra counter on Sharp-Eyed Rookie is a big upside. And the Mortipede is nice because it can trigger it the second time. Is that better than Braggart? Probably, and Braggart is red anyway. So, we'll do that. Okay, yeah, we got some power in here. 17 lands looks correct. We've got 12, 8, 6. Classic. Oddly, this mana base looks pretty good. If anything, cut a mountain and put in Escape Tunnel. Maybe that's too many red even. So another forest in. Because forest gets us pretty good stuff. Extracted Confession, those can be late. That can be late. We want to curve out with green, and green does help find our second color anyway. So 7 green, 8 black, and then 4 or 5 red, depending on if we consider Panther up there. Yeah, let's see. 8, 7. Extract is something we can do on turn 2 or later. Tempted by Airtight Alibi. We have 14 creatures. It protects Izoni, it protects Judith. We don't have a way of recurring those from the graveyard. So once they're done, they're done. protects the rookie. Makes Agent into more of a combat threat. I think it depends what kind of removal our opponents are running. Because I'm really not sure what to get rid of for it. I do like it in theory. But I'm gonna leave it out here. Okay, so that is the deck. Just Jund. See you in the matches. Round 1. Play faster, please. Could tilt them by not playing fast. Oh, Cerebral Confiscation. I left that in. It's probably fine. Yeah, it's hard to give away a hand like this, which has all our colors. Hopefully we can catch up. I don't think there's a problem playing green first. We don't have like a double color spell on turn 2. That guy. I could just World Souls Rage this Gorehound, turn 3. What's the theory about casting this when they've got 6 cards in hand? Take their best card or just let them discard 2? I think deny their resources as much as possible. Seeing their hand has some upside. They just discard a couple lands. Have to be careful. World Souls Raging the Fester Leech. But I could do the Gorehound. It's funny, as many lands as I have, I need one more forest for this. Yeah, I'm gonna save the rage for something bigger, even though they could keep surveilling off this Gorehound forever. No shortage of lands over there. I can't afford to block the Fester Leech here. With any luck, they'll use some more mana. Murder and Repeat Offender, that's good. And I can burn it away. Aftermath Analyst. Okay, well, now we're starting to get somewhere. Do I want to surveil first? I guess it doesn't really matter. I'll mill 3 and then surveil. Because I'll get a bunch of information before that. Okay, there's some stuff. They're going to kill Analyst in response? Okay. Ouch. Bite down on crime. That's a bit risky here. Because if they shocked our creature, galvanized it, whatever, we just don't have anything to do with it. It doesn't get us any closer to... Yeah, I think we go to the graveyard with that. It's weird because it's a good one. I'm not blocking, so I'll attack. And then next turn, World Souls Rage is pretty good to get back our stuff. They come back tapped. It's a good reason to stop on our upkeep to fetch then. They're milling more good cards. Interrogators, I like to see this one. And then, of course, too much of a board for me to ever deal with. Yeah, I still wonder what the correct thing to destroy here is. Maybe Person of Interest. Yeah, maybe Person of Interest, because I could always block the Fester Leech later. Ah, Eavesdropper. It feels like I have to play Eavesdropper here. And then see what we can block. Murder. Pretty perfect. I can't take 3, right? Let's see what we get. I wouldn't mind green source. Wow, they let the leech trade off. Didn't expect that. Well, that's a bit of a gift, I suppose. Ah, Izoni. That's perfect. That's pretty perfect. Could we win this game from here? I mean, Izoni's real good. Get rid of the Eavesdropper. As long as they don't have me discard 2 cards. That's a good point. I shouldn't have played that mountain. They're going to have me discard 2. Okay. Phew. Because there's not much we can draw next turn. Maybe we can do a big, slightly bigger World Souls Rage, but that's about it. Well, let's see. 3, 4, 5, 6. No, even if we draw the land, it doesn't matter if we played the land there. So they're not attacking with that. I need to get World Souls Rage for 2, so I need to maybe destroy this disguise creature. Get 2 lands back. There we go. And then Izoni can survive on the attack. Could it be 3 toughness? I don't think so. But, well, what could they have? In red? In red-black, is there anything that pumps here? I'm just going to do it for 2. Gosh, I've never resolved this before. It just asks a whole lot of questions that if at any point you answer incorrectly, you get destroyed. All right, Izoni will attack because it gives us pretty good blockers. Do exactly 4 evidence. Interesting. And now we have 4 tokens in play. So this third ability, this activated ability, is available to us. Vein Ripper. Oh, great. Oh, just wonderful. Yeah, good value. That's like the big card from the set now. After it did so well in the Pioneer tournament, the Pro Tour. Menace is good. But yeah, now I don't want to sack 4 permanents, please. No thanks. No thanks. Oh, I should have done Escape Tunnel then. Well, I might use Escape Tunnel offensively. What if I attacked with everybody here? That just does 6 to them. It's not really enough. But I, I also can't really let them attack. So the play, well, these all have reach. So I could just single block Vein Ripper and take 2. So I think attacking with Izoni, they double block it. I go to 3. I block with one of these, I go to 2. I think that's gonna work. I think that would work. And then Panther might be okay too. Okay, yeah, so I just attack with Izoni. Plenty of evidence. Oh, did I screw it up? Could I have won this turn? They can't block with Person of Interest. So, oh no, that's still just 8. What am I thinking? I do want to kill both of these, I guess. So I go to 3. And they gain so much life. Oh no. Yeah, maybe this was wrong because now, yeah, we just can't kill Vein Ripper. Maybe I should have only killed one of those. Yeah, this could have been wrong, but I suppose if they attack, we could win on the crackback. Yeah. Oh, if this is it, then maybe we do win. If they attack, they go to 20, but they can't block. Oh, they could attack with both. Oh, duh. Oh no, they didn't do it. If they attacked with both, we would have been dead. So here, yeah, easy. They have nothing left. Yeah, let me see if this is lethal, though. Not quite. 11, 12. Yeah, it's just lethal. Okay. They should have attacked with both. They would have had it. Finally, another forest. Yeah, torch the witness. Okay, well, in any case, attack for lethal. Sure. Collect some evidence. Yeah. Oh, okay. So we were given a couple gifts there, and I'll take them. Now, how to kill that giant monster? Just a bit too big for the detonation. And besides that, I just don't know. They do have murder. Airtight alibi might be something we're interested in. Confiscation is probably pretty good there. And despite getting 2 of their lands, they still had plenty to cast their 6-drop. Rage turned out to be fine. Judith will be good. Bite down on crime. That's a way to kill it. Extract a confession is the best way by far. Analysis gains some life. Mortipede is fine. I really want this alibi in here, but I don't know what to get rid of. I could just put it in, 41 cards. Would that make a better deck? No, I'll just submit. Okay, another strange one. But it's a strange one with some elephants, so it's a keep. You're never going to have the perfect hand. The perfect draw here, though, would be the 2/2 Vigilance. That would be nice. One time. I mean, I guess I'll do it. Repeat Offender doesn't get any smaller. Yeah, I know about that. I can do that too. It's so expensive to flip. Oops. Yeah, I'm just gonna do it face up. Another offender. So we are racing here, and it looks like I'm not winning that race quite yet. Next turn will be pretty good. Let's say we don't block this turn. I would block the repeat offender, I think, but let's say we don't block the assailant. Next turn, we crack the clue, attack for 4, and if anything goes too wrong, we've got toxin analysis. Torch, gosh, that could be good. Or better yet, just attack and play another eavesdropper, and then double duty on that. So yeah, I'll just attack here. So we're not dead next turn. Interesting. I don't know what to think about that. I don't know how I feel about that. What? Yeah, our opponent's making some... That's the third kind of interesting play I've seen them make. Like they don't quite get the most value out of it. But maybe they feel like they're just under so much pressure. Do I take 5 here? Or do I trade off with this 5/3? I think I want to... I think I want to take it. There's just so much value from attacking this turn. Whenever you draw your second card each turn. Okay. There's the red. So these don't become bigger than 4/4s, but they do become as big as 4/4s. Let's tap 2 red to sack a clue. Pretty good. And then do I want toxin analysis here? Before they can screw us up? Just gain 4. Now they have so much mana, we might need analysis. Yeah, 8, 9, 10, 11. All right, we got it. Match two. Let's keep this. We've got no black for these extracted confessions, but we've got some ways to get lands back from our graveyard, so maybe that's enough fixing to get us there. We're on the draw. That's kind of like fixing. See? Easy. So here was a question I had. I think it was World Souls Rage. You can do 0 damage with this, right? Yeah, I think so. All right, I do want Aftermath Analyst in play. And in case we draw a tap land, I don't want to put the mountain in play here, because we could do like Agent plus tap land. So let's do Analyst, see if it gets countered. Would be a shame if it got countered. Judith is gone. Oh well, gone forever. Izoni's great, but this deck is kind of built around Judith. And not a way to get her back. Usually you just want to get rid of these things before they can flip on you. Another one. Might have to let this one go, since getting Eavesdropper into play is too good. What I will do is attack with the Analyst, because it looks like they're just going to get screwed here if they block, so they're not going to block. That was cute. And then they don't really attack into this either. And if we wouldn't want to block this, we wouldn't want to block it with either creature. Flip a 4/3, sure. So they spent their whole turn flipping a 4/3. That makes a lot of our cards a bit better. If we draw land, we could World Souls Rage it. If we draw Swamp, we can do two things. But what I'll do is sack this in case we can get land. And having the land is good. We'll just have him sack it, I think. Leave their board pretty empty. And since we got the land this turn, the World Souls Rage is going to be better. Six, they could just hardcast one of these phantoms. The phantom, I mean, the phantom gets a bad reputation, but it's a 4/3 flyer. It hits pretty hard. They probably knew that that 4 power was enough of a clock that they couldn't make it a detective. It'd be too good. I mean, it's not an amazing card, but I think it is pretty well balanced. Okay, that's good. World Souls Rage, we could do 4 to kill Projector Inspector. Everything's so expensive. Yeah, I do want to kill the Inspector. And that does get us a forest back into play. I think that's okay. It sets us up for a good turn next turn. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh my gosh. Put up to 2 lands. Okay, so there and okay. I want to sort of bluff that I have the 1 mana trick here. So I don't know if they're buying it. But if I attack and they block, they know we don't have it. So I could have maybe gotten a damage in there. Why else would I consider attacking? Galvanize, interesting. So what do I want to do here? I think I don't know what the best play is. What could this be? This could tap down our eavesdropper. Play this eavesdropper. They could tap both of our creatures. They could flip this, then we could galvanize it and attack for 1. In any case, let's just get in there. Vigilance doesn't matter, but the +1/+1 might matter. So that's why I wanted to play the eavesdropper here. A 6/5. Oh dear. We haven't drawn an extra card, so this is a bit awkward. 6/5. We'll have to trade Galvanize as well. If you've drawn 2 or more cards this turn, I just haven't, right? Yeah. But I've still got to use it. Anyway, it drew me a card. Theirs didn't. They spent 9 mana on theirs. I spent 4 mana on mine. I'll get over it. Forensic researcher. Let's put all your lands into play. So I exile them. Gorehound. Interesting. Well, we could kill that. We could try to kill it. I don't think it's important for us to crack this clue here. Yeah, let's go for it. Let's try to torch it. X is 2. That might bait their first spell. Then we go Gorehound into Agent to get another card from their hand. Repeat Offender is more of a threat, but they're at a point where, I don't know, they could just start stockpiling lands in their hand. And right now, this might be the one window where it gets a relevant spell. And getting a relevant spell from their hand is worth more than the tempo from Repeat Offender by a little bit. 5. I think the clock is pretty much the same either way. Now, the way this really bites us is if they have a Wrath. We're still okay after that. Let's see what they discard first. Okay, they're gonna concede. So they didn't have a Wrath in their hand, and they probably don't have a Wrath in their deck, because you wouldn't concede there if it's possible to draw it. Detonation doesn't kill the X5, but it does kill flipped creatures for 2 mana. I think that's whatever. I'll just submit. It does kill morphs, as it were. It's easier to say morph than disguise. Whenever I try to say disguise, I'm always searching for the word. Here's an interesting hand. This is about as bad of a hand as I would keep, but it gets our green, and it also punishes their being on the play a little bit. So, yeah, it's about as bad as I'd keep, but I'll keep it. We can always draw cards that make it better. Yeah. Or we could draw nothing, because, yeah, any land we draw from now on is dead, which is not where you want to be. Oh, but there's a card. That's a good one. Doesn't have any friends lined up, but it's a pretty high priority target for them. I hope they tap it. That would be funny, because it just sits in play making clues at that point. Here we go. You sack a creature, I swing for 2. Not a bad one to get. Oops. Yeah. Wow. They're stuck on 3, and they don't even want to go against this guy. Fair enough. Keep your 7 landers. All right, in the finals, on the play, let's go. All right. Judith in hand means we can't mill it. 2 red cards means I hope we get some mountains at some point, and well, let's keep this. These are both late game cards, so not ideal to start with. But it does mean we don't need the red right away. And our deck's treated us pretty well so far. We have, let's see, about 5 or 6 red draws in our deck, things that can search for it. Not a bad one. Crawl Whipcracker to the graveyard. Surveil 2 on turn 1 is pretty great. It just feels like your hand is 2 cards bigger. Oh, perfect. Not too bad. Not bad, because we really don't need 2 sources of red. Mirror match in the finals here. We'll see if they have red. 3 colors is common. They're going to cycle their guy for red? No, sliced. Ouch. They took the damage, which is kind of cool. Worst case for them is they try to do it in combat, and I give it +3/+3 or something. So we get a red. I'm not going to World Souls Rage this poor Maverick. That's not my idea of fun. They get so much extra value out of it. We would get the tunnel back. Murdered. Okay, well, they murdered the sort of low priority target. We get our clue. Oh, dear. That might be worth killing. But it would be nice to do Judith first, wouldn't it? Gosh, I really want Judith to survive here. It might not. They might just bite it with the eavesdropper. But you can't play around every single card ever printed. You just have to, I mean, they only have 4 cards in their hand. So we're fine. Just never play your creatures. They might mind control it. They did have something. Oh, no. Well, what can you do, right? We couldn't have played around that. All right. So we want to do at least 3, but it doesn't matter if we do 4. So I'll just do 4. Done. And then make sure I answer all the questions. The multiple choice test coming up here. So I click that and then I press OK. Perfect. And I want to stop on my upkeep because I don't want to necessarily draw any more lands. Got my Judith. Yeah. Search for basic land. We will get... I guess we'll get mountain. And draw Izoni here. There's our fight spell or bite spell or whatever it is. Collect evidence. So we could bite something here. We could even bite the disguise creature. But that would be kind of a weird turn when we might as well just play all this junk. Long goodbye on repeat offender. Okay, so they are chock full of removal. It feels very much like we're playing another 2-0 player. Okay. I'm good. Okay. Right. Got it. Got it. Loud and clear. Let's see. This thing's so expensive. It's really awful. So yeah, if we cast this, we don't also get to bite down on crime. But who knows what theirs is? It's probably the well, I guess we just don't even want to worry about what it is. It's probably going to mess us up, whatever it is. We could double block here. I think we have to go after the eavesdropper. That's a guaranteed 4/4. So why don't we do that? And I'll exile stuff from our graveyard. So cast with additional cost. We need to exile 6. Judith and Gorehound. Swing 4. And since we're going to put this guy face down anyway, I'll crack my clue. Agent does nothing, so there. It's a good chump blocker. They attack with just this. No, they attack with both. So I'll block here. They flip this up into a 6/7 and kill us. Or that. Yeah, I thought it might be that. All right, so they do have all the removal. I'll bring in Airtight Alibi because they didn't have a ton of Extract a Confession. What am I less interested in? Rot Farm Mortipede. It's a decent size of a critter. Well, yeah. Well, it's maybe just worse, a lot worse than these eavesdroppers. Yeah, let's do that. Alibi to say, like, if we ever save something with Alibi, that'll be a big swing. All alone. Yeah, let's mulligan that. Yeah, reasonable. Yeah, I think we can keep this and... Oh, shoot. Back Judith? Yeah, we're gonna shuffle right away anyway. So Judith, if we draw it, we draw it. If not, whatever. Pass. I want this mana to get up to Izoni, and then Izoni could just take over the game. That's the plan. Well, speak of the devil. I didn't say I wanted to draw it right away. That's just the world we live in. Unscrupulous agent. Well, shucks, what do we get rid of? Maybe the Gorehound. Leave our 2 bombs. It's either that or Judith. Just go for quantity over quality here. Okay. We've got a land and an eavesdropper, so that's a lot of value. Yikes. Okay. Do they have the Case of the Gorgon? Case of the Stashed Skeleton? And a hard-hitting question to finish off our guy. Oh no! Oh no! This turn we could have gotten all our lands back. Maybe I wasn't supposed to block there. Oh well, if we just draw perfectly, we'll get mountain into any land, and it'll be an easy win. Yeah, we need mountain because World Soul's Rage doesn't do much for us here. Oh wow, Ferox. All right, game on. We'll get this. Yes, person of interest, and we're on the board. We're back on the board here. I can attack again and do it. So the block here is just probably double block Ferox. Take 3. I don't want to give them Case. They probably drew Murder, and they have enough removal spells in their hand. Yeah, Bite Down on Crime. Yeah, their whole deck is removal, so of course the whole top of their deck is removal. Or, I mean, I can't really afford to take this, can I? So I'll give them another removal spell. Yeah. So now they can find Murder, play it, attack for 5, or find another Bite Down on Crime and win this turn. So we'll see. We just drew the lands in the wrong... Like, if I got Judith down first, maybe we had a chance. Bit of an awkward draw here. Murder, and then I'd need a Wrath to really survive here. Or I could draw like a way to make them sack the Ferox, then go to 1. But no, that'll do it. Well, thanks for watching. This is certainly a cool deck and certainly a powerful opponent in the last round. It's worth taking note of what beats you. So removal being very important. These sort of like extra value rares are pretty important. Gorehound being a lot of value. Eavesdroppers and agents. So it gives you an idea. These are all like the premium commons. A Killer Among Us is good. So you take something even from a loss. But that's it. Good luck in your drafts.